All right, 3 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this first day of spring. Oh, my gosh, it's a beautiful first day. If the first day of any season is an indication of what the season is going to be like, we've got a good season ahead of us. Dave Schlenker is in the studio. Gosh, we run into Dave in so many different places. He is in the media. Of course, his media is photography and the newspaper. And ours is radio and accordion in the middle. And we run into Dave, and we know Dave, and but we don't know Dave. So I said, you were in here last week or so ago to talk about, what was the thing they were in here for?
Communicator of the Year.
The Communicator of the Year. Yes. Which you won one time, right?
I won last year, yes, sir.
Okay, and you got to kiss the horse one year?
I did kiss the horse.
We have that in common.
The year after you kissed the horse, I believe.
We have that in common, but she's the unspoken hero in that one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So you raised all the money and then sent him in to kiss the horse?
Pretty much, yes.
That's brilliant. That's a brilliant scheme.
Yeah, but you got beat up for your win because you wrestled,
right.
And you were amazing.
I took a pounding. That's right.
So one of my favorite things when I watch or listen to talk shows is getting to know the person. And we don't know you.
I'm very boring.
We sort of know you
I'm exceptionally boring.
Because I think you're honest in your writing. We sort of get a feel for who you are. You're kind of like us. You don't mind letting people know the real you. So I think that's probably true. But still, we've never had coffee. Do you have coffee right now?
Yeah.
You have water? You have coffee. So look,
coffee and water.
I know. Gee.
Well, have you ever seen comedians in cars getting coffee? That Seinfeld
I love that
thing?
show. Yeah,
me too.
Oh, I love that show. Yeah.
My favorite part, though, is when they let their guard down.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell, for example. I've seen Will Ferrell in interviews, countless interviews. I've never seen him get out of character.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, he got out of character.
Yep. That was great. That's a great show.
So that's what I'm kind of wanting to do with you.
All right, cool.
Just get out of character. Forget radio, media, Star Banner, promoting anything. Just who are you? Did you grow up in Ocala?
I grew up in Ocala. My family moved here in 1978 from St. Pete. My stepfather was...
Wait, how old are you when that happened?
I hit 50 this week. Or not this week. Excuse me, this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I was...
78 you were...
Gosh, I was going into 5th grade.
Okay.
I spent my last year in elementary school here at Highlands Elementary.
So you had some formative years in St. Petersburg.
Yeah. Okay. We moved... I was born in Pittsburgh, and my dad... then was working for the steer mill. Yeah, he made steer. Sorry.
What did he do?
Steel mill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's hard to talk. I've had too much of your good coffee.
Is this you have a stepfather and a father? You
yes.
told us off there. Okay, so who was the guy who sold the parts to Ferris Wheels?
That was my father, Grant Schlenker. He's local now. He's in Citrus County, and he worked for a company called Euro Drive, and they made all these motors. And the motors went into different parts of fairs, and they use them for different things. But he kind of lost my interest after Ferris Wheels because that's all I remember. The rest of it was all boring after that.
That's kind of funny, isn't it?
Yeah. And then my stepfather, then my mom. We grew up in when we were in St. Pete, single mom, toughing it out in the 70s, and worked at the bank and raised just a bunch of wild hoodlum kids. And
how many kids? How many are you a part of?
I'm the youngest of 4, and then when my mom remarried, we married into. I had another stepbrother whose name was also David, so I had the honor of being Little Dave for the rest of my life.
Oh, really? Oh no.
Yes.
Was he physically bigger than you?
Oh yeah. Older, bigger. Yeah, they used to joke, because I'm a small guy and I was a very small kid, and so that my brothers always used to joke that they were going to take my tiny little shoes and put them on the rearview mirror. 'Cause they so I was little in every sense of the word, and but it was so 5 kids altogether. That's pretty much where I grew up.
Wow.
My oldest brother is a music teacher up in he's up in Ithaca, New York now. So
what were you playing with when you were a kid? Were you playing with a typewriter? I always try to imagine what people were before.
I was the geeky kid with a book, and then I was.
You liked reading? You were a big reader?
Big time reader. And then I was in the marching band in high school.
What did you play?
Played saxophone.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I didn't play it well.
And what school? Was it here?
Forest High School, and then Fort King Middle School before that. And so I played. I was pretty good, and that was kind of my crowd in high school, and it was in the marching band, and good friends there, and it's neat now to work professionally in the city because I graduated from Forest High School. Still knew a lot of kids from both middle school, high school, and a lot of my kids are friends with the kids of friends of ours. My wife went to Forest High School too. She was on the dance team.
Nice.
Yeah. I asked her out a lot of times, and she gave me the friend bit often. But I finally wore her down in college.
Oh, good job.
Yeah.
She gave you the friend bit?
Oh yeah, big time friend bit.
What does that mean? Let's just be friends?
You go out. You spend all the money, you work everything up, and then you go for the kiss, and and she goes to the side, and I just want to be friends. So I got that a lot. Yeah, but that was all right.
That's too funny.
It all worked out in the end.
But you didn't give up.
I like how Larry pretends he doesn't know what the friend bit is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're onto me a little bit there.
Yeah.
Well, I actually know.
Larry's a mover and shaker. Man.
But here's the thing. I knew
Yeah.
what I would have meant by that, but I wasn't sure what you meant by that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just
big
to
time.
clarify
Yeah.
what I wanted to know what you were saying.
Yeah. But the friend bit worked out all right for me because we met up again at UCF. She was finishing up her graduate work at UCF, and I was finishing up my senior year, and. So we met up and just we knew each other. It was very comfortable.
Okay,
Nice.
you caught me on the friend thing. You were accurate, but I had some splaining to do, Lucy.
Okay. Oh yeah.
But here's the thing. Okay,
right.
you remember last week or whatever it was? The ladies had this day, and they were complaining. They had this list of things they didn't like about men, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Well, all those things that they listed was everything your father and my father taught me not to do. Mm-hmm. In other words, the nice guy the girls didn't want to be with?
Yeah.
Fit that description.
Oh sure. Oh yeah.
So that's why I'd just be friends because you're too nice.
Yeah.
I want to
too nice.
I want to date James
bad
Dean or
boys.
something. Yeah.
You're funny to keep around. You're the amusing chatter in the background. But this is a true story. When I was in college, I had a fairly serious relationship in college. Lasted a couple of years, and then it ended. And so the first girl I asked out in college, I guess I was pretty much off my game. If I had any game, I don't think I had any game. Maybe this explains why. But the first date I had after this long relationship, I'm not joking. She brought a date. She called me up.
What?
Yeah, it was serious. I guess and so, he was very nice. He paid for dinner. It was.
There was three of you?
Oh yeah. I can't.
He must have felt weird too.
Yeah, I guess so.
What was she really hot, and the both of you were just like?
No, I think I was just really. I was probably one of these that I didn't quite make it clear that this was a date. I was probably shuffling, going, you want there's a pizza movie?
Do you mind if I'm a third wheel?
Ambiguous.
Yeah, and so.
So who was the third wheel? You or him?
I thought it was him, but he probably thought it was me. And we ended up not the guy, but the girl. I ended up dating, for about best part of a year after that. I mean, she finally figured it out and was, slapping her head a little bit. But it was really funny because I worked at the campus newspaper office at UCF, and we were all very close. And I was excited. I'm like, all right, all right. And they're all excited for me. Like, all right, Dave's moving on. This is great, and so. I was coming in after class, walked in the newspaper office, and there's this awkward silence, and they said, "Hey, Dave, your date called." And they all bust up. Like,
what?
Okay. And they go, she wants to know if she can bring a date. So it wasn't just that she brought a date. She actually called my friends and said, "Hey, is Dave there?
Gosh.
Oh, tell him that I'm bringing a date to her, to a date."
My
so
gosh.
that was beautiful. So.
One time in the paper, you mentioned that you were thinking about writing your anthology or putting an anthology together of your writings.
Yes.
Is that was you just kidding, or are you?
No, not at all. In fact, that is one thing. Yeah, what I'd like to do. I'm going to be one of the real men who wears pink for the breast cancer campaign.
Nice.
Yeah. Again, so I'm trying to find a fundraiser. That's the in October. It's the March to End Breast Cancer. And each year, I'm trying to get out of the wrestling thing. I'm starting to get a little too old for the wrestling thing.
Yeah,
that's always, the Funks are always very gracious.
So is
Dory.
Mr. Funk, yeah.
Yeah, well, Dory's in a lot better shape than I am. Yeah, that guy's, I watched him work out one time, and, I'm just sitting there eating with cram and a,
so it's not all fake.
getting on my face at the point.
So it's not all fake?
Oh, my gosh, that guy, yeah, you will get hurt in that ring. There is no doubt you will get hurt. But anyway, I forgot. Oh, yeah, the anthology. And so the Star Band and I had talked about a year ago. I've been with this, doing all this for about 26 years now. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of columns.
Yeah.
And so for my 20th anniversary, we thought, well, maybe it'd be nice to actually publish a book of columns.
Right.
Yeah,
the best of them, which was a real nice thing. And we considered it for a very long time. It was just one of these things that just didn't work out, a lot of cost involved. And so I decided probably what I'll end up doing is self-publishing this year and using the sales of that for my fundraising campaign for October.
Oh, how cool. How generous.
Yeah.
I love
I'll
your
try to-
writing.
Your writing is great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to completely stay away from what you do for a profession.
Yeah.
But I like getting to know you. Those dating stories are cool.
Yeah.
But I like your writing. You have a way, and I always suspect when I read your writing that underneath there, if you wanted to, you could lift the light and be heavy if you wanted to.
Yes.
You could do that, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I'd like to think I can. And sometimes I do. It's just, the idea of the column always has been a bit of a humor column. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when you sit down to write on a Thursday, you don't feel real funny sometimes. And it's, I wrote a column here just recently on a very dear friend who passed away from. I've had so many friends I've lost to cancer just past few years, and it's crazy. And so I wrote a column about her and wrote a column about the other guy and another friend. And so it's and what's nice is that and I'm not saying this just to be aw shucks, but it still amazes me how close people follow these columns. Mm-hmm. It still amazes me that people are interested. It still amazes me that they're laughing at this same stupid
Tell
jokes.
me how many times
You're an icon.
How many times do you hear this? I wish it was longer.
Oh, I don't think I've ever heard that.
You've never heard I wish it was
The
longer?
column was longer?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
Oh my gosh, I think it all the time. I get to the end and go, oh, come on.
Yeah. I hear, would you please stop writing about your kids and cats a lot?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, not a lot these days. My kids don't let me write about them much these days.
Yeah, but you're there. You're such a great dad. Your daughters are into the ballet. You go behind the scenes and take the photographs and everything. And your photographs are fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
Are you
Thanks.
going to publish a book with your photographs?
Oh, I don't know.
A coffee table
Maybe
book
I
because
would.
you're very creative.
One thing I've really been doing a lot with photography is photographing Ocala. Which is something that I just really enjoy doing, just doing some really creative takes on downtown Ocala.
Yeah, you're very good at that. I told Robin one time that if there was a multi-photographer gallery, I probably could tell which ones were yours.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it is, but there's something you do differently.
Well, I appreciate that. And one thing that I try to do is that I do a lot with lighting. I actually have a photography degree. About 20 years into the business, I realized, when the recession was starting to really affect the newspaper industry pretty.
In the 70s?
Yeah. Oh, no, not in the 70s, but this was probably 2007, 2008.
Oh, okay.
Different recession. Right?
Yeah, different.
Sorry.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm old.
Some really good people in our newsroom were let go. I mean, it was the first round of layoffs for us. And I mean, people I'm looking at, they were much more talented than I was. And I figured I probably need an additional skill than writing about my cats. I probably have to progress on. So I went and on weekends and nights, I went and I got my photo degree. It took about 2.5 years. I went to Southeastern Center for Photographic Studies at Daytona State College, which is where Doug Engel went and a lot of good friends.
We're going there Wednesday.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we play
the museum?
an Irish thing.
Yeah, for the Irish
No, we
Heritage
play
Festival.
music.
State?
Yeah, they do some Irish thing every year, and they always ask
be
us to
darned,
play.
yeah.
And then we got to remember these Irish songs.
This is the time of year where we all pretend to like Irish music. I was listening to this like Thistle and Shamrock or one of the the UFD shows last night, and I'm just like, no, I should like this, but I shouldn't.
I do like the history behind your name, Corgi Photo.
Yep, that's.
I do like the history.
Yeah, I named the business Corgi Photo because the original idea was it was going to be Corgi and kids photography because I ended up opening up a small studio, and it was going to be family portraits and pet portraits and that sort of thing, things I like photographing. And I had my old college roommate design our logo because that was like one of the senior projects is you had to have your business launched. I mean, literally with the state, LLC, the whole 9 yards, which was great. And my college roommate is a graphic designer, so I called him up. I'm like, hey, I forgot this assignment. What can you do for me in like 2 days? And I gave him the name Corgi and Kids Photography. And like right before, the day before this assignment was due, he sent it back to me. He goes, that's too long. So it became Corgi Photo by default. So I was Corgi Photo. And it kind of stuck, and I photographed a lot of Corgis and dogs and, so.
See, and I always thought you owned Corgis. Is that
I did.
Oh, you did?
I do.
Oh,
I still do.
You still do?
We're down to one right now. Abby, we name our pets after Beatles albums. So we had Abby and we had Pepper and.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The kids didn't want to do that with the cat.
Did you have one named Rubber?
Oh, not with the cat.
What's that?
Did you have one named Rubber?
No, we we considered Lucy and but Eggman, the whole 9 yards. But
Walrus.
yeah, the cat didn't. Yeah, that would be a good one for a Corgi. That'd be a good one for like a like a bulldog. That'd be
right.
Bulldog, wouldn't it?
But the cat didn't get the.
No, the
name.
cat went with. We ended up inheriting this. Not inheriting. We adopted the cat from the Humane Society, and I no more wanted a cat, and I love cats. But we hadn't had one for a while. We were kind of knee deep in dogs at the time. And I made the mistake of bringing my daughter. This was at the old Blue Biscuit, which is the old cafe, the dog cafe, and they didn't serve dogs. They served dogs food, I should say. It was a little designer boutique for pets and stuff. It was cute. But they also had the Humane Society would come out with dogs and cats. And so my daughter, I was doing some photography for them. And I made the mistake of bringing my daughter at the time, my oldest daughter. And she fell in love with this cat, and she lobbied us. It took about a month and a half before we decided, okay, fine, you've chipped away at us too much. And we got the cat. At the time, of course, she was a big Hunger Games fan, so the cat is Katniss. And then we let our younger daughter give her the middle name, which was Pound Cake. So it was Katniss Pound Cake Schlenker. But
how cool.
I tried to go with the Beatles theme. They wouldn't buy it. I think they were tired.
So what's with the Beatles? Were you a Beatles fan?
Oh, yeah, big Beatles.
Is that why you picked up the saxophone?
No, I picked up the saxophone just because they didn't have a trumpet when I wanted to be in band. The trumpet was more or the sax was more available, and cheaper, I think, for my mom at the time. So, which was okay. I really enjoyed playing the sax, and I don't think I would have been good at the trumpet. I mean, I was okay on the sax. I played in college a bit, and I was in cabaret when Ocala Civic Theater did cabaret back in, let's see, I would have been in college. I would have been 80, I forget, maybe 88, 87. And they were in the old theater. It was one of the last shows in the old theater. I was one of the band members in drag.
Really?
I was in the orchestra. The orchestra
in drag.
Is beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah, there's a photo of me and a couple other locals. Ralph Giuliano played trumpet. Yeah. So it was fun. That was one of my last pro gigs was because they paid the orchestra back then. And Do
you always need to know where you're going before you start the car?
Before I start the car.
Do you always need to know where you're going before you start?
Before I start in general, but a lot of times.
Have you ever started the car and said, you know what? I don't know where I'm going, but I'm just going to go?
Oh yeah, lots of times. Usually, I like to get lost, and I have no use for directions. Typical guy. I guess. So I love to take scenic routes, and I have a really good sense of north south. If I get on this road, eventually I'll probably end up on this road. So I always know my destination, but I don't always know my route.
Oh, how to get there? Okay,
right,
so you know where you're going, but you sometimes are a little bit
especially on the back
thinking out of
roads
the box to use that old cliche.
I love the back roads of Florida. I love the back roads of anywhere. I know generally where the big highways are, and it drives my wife nuts.
Because why? It takes longer to get there?
Well, just because she's very by the book, she needs to know exactly where she's going.
Really?
She's and we get. I'll say no, don't pull up Siri. She's like, okay, we went to college looking with my daughter here recently. We were cutting through Palatka and that, and she's like, okay, well if it says here, I'm like, no, I don't want to know. I know generally here's a state road, and if I head,
that's funny.
If I head northeast on this, we'll eventually hit St. Augustine.
The first time I had a GPS, I didn't know that you're supposed to tell it whether you want to or don't want to take highways and toll roads and things like that. So we went to St. Petersburg or something down in that area. I can't remember where we went to, and we're just following what the lady tells us to do.
Sure.
And I'm like 100,000 red lights. It felt like, and I said, I wonder why. If I didn't have this thing, I would have been taking the interstate.
Yeah. Yep.
Then we stopped at a Denny's, and I was reading the instructions or whatever, and I figured out you're supposed to check these boxes that says, allow me to take these roads. Right. But in a way, it was kind of cool to just do that. Yeah. Just take those roads.
Yes, please tell me the most complicated, congested routes. I want to see lots of Dollar Generals and Starbucks and red lights.
What's really great about you, Dave, is that you literally bring the community together because you're on Facebook all the time. Yep. You pose questions to people about now. You bring up items that people have in their memory to ask them to contribute. Right. So you're very community oriented, and you are just so endearing to the community.
I appreciate that. And social media has really changed the game, I think, for reporting in a lot of different ways. The newspaper actually now uses a lot of different social media platforms. We put videos on there. We try to engage, but it's also very nice for sourcing. Like right now, I'm going back and I'm going to work on a story on the rodeo. And back in the old days, prior to that, if you're looking for someone to go to the rodeo, you're just cold calling people. Hey, and then sometimes they'll just want to be in the newspaper. So yeah, sure, I go to the rodeo. Let me tell you all about it. Well, now you just put something out on Facebook, and people who actually went to the rodeo will call and so then you call them up, and so it's nice. It's kind of it's fish in a barrel in terms of sourcing for folks who actually have done stuff, can tell you what it's all about. So.
Yeah, and everybody responds. When you put out a question, and I have responded to a few things. I can't remember what the last one was, but something.
Yeah.
But so what do you see yourself doing in 10 years?
That is a good question. The way the industry is changing right now, I don't know. I probably will be doing some form of what I do.
What would you do if you didn't have to work? If you won the lottery, let's say, what would you do? Would you still work? Would you still?
I would probably
be a writer.
I'd like to write books and just go travel the world, photograph. I think would be my dream.
Photographs. A photograph.
I've always wanted to do the Route 66 photography. Mm-hmm. Start in Chicago, go to LA, just take photos on the way.
Can you still drive that whole route? That whole 66?
I think you can.
I stood on it one time.
You stood on Route 66?
Yeah, here's my Route 66 story.
Dangerous, Larry.
There was nobody on it. All right. Yeah. I was on whatever interstate is like parallel to Route 66. And I was with my son. It was someplace out west, desert or someplace.
Yeah.
And we stopped at this rest area, and I looked at the map, and it's the road right behind the rest area is Route 66. So I said, oh, this is a famous road.
Yep.
There's nobody on it. So I said, let's climb the fence and stand on Route 66 so we can say we did.
Yep.
And we did.
Yep. You didn't see the movie Cars where they lament the loss of the
but
Route
I know
66?
the song.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a James Taylor song, right?
Well, there's
what's the song where they're crying about the road being?
Well, Randy Newman wrote it, right? And James Taylor performed it.
Yes, Randy Newman wrote it. Yes.
Yeah. I've seen your photographs like in the different cities where you vacation. I love your New York photos at night.
Yep.
And then I love the mirror images that you do to reverse them.
Yeah, I appreciate really cool. That. Man, you guys are nice.
Robin is a New Yorker at heart.
Yeah, are you
Robin's from Wisconsin, but she really seems to love New York.
I know you originally have roots in New York, right?
Yeah.
And then Robin, did you live there?
No, but I visit occasionally.
Yeah. Oh, good.
And now my son and his wife live up there.
Up in the city?
It's fun. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they live in New Jersey, but he works in Manhattan, so that's a favorite place to go.
I like doing this kind of an interview. This is a nice way to do an interview.
This is nice, yeah.
This is better than finding out what So what's your website? What are you hawking? What are you trying to sell?
I'm always hawking something. This is weird though for me because usually I am pitching something.
Yeah. Well, when you were here last time, I thought it's funny. We know everybody in town. It seems like but not really. I mean, I don't really know anybody. You know,
favorite color's blue. Yeah.
But you look great in bow ties.
I do look great in bow ties. I think
and then you had
he agrees.
And then you had that knicker thing going on, and I think you should wear those. I think you look great in them.
I've come to the conclusion. I put on Facebook recently where I was driving on similar roads in a similar area, and I saw it was three people all total. It was three guys wearing knickers, just walking around wearing knickers.
Oh yeah.
And then it hit
wrote
me.
About this. Yeah.
I realized the next time I saw him, it was the same guy. So it wasn't a trend. It wasn't a trend, sadly. You know, I was hoping I was onto something there. But no, it was just this one guy, and he walks around. It's around Fort King and 25th Avenue. He walks around wearing knickers.
Did you go through a period in your life when
you wore knickers?
No, when you wanted to get out of town, when you wanted to live in New York or L.A. or London or something?
When I was in high school, I wanted nothing to do with Ocala.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't wait to get out of there. You know, I went to UCF freshman year. And considered UF, but you know, it was just a little bit too close to home. But then after college graduation, I worked in Citrus County for about a year and a half, and then I realized Ocala was a thriving metropolis after that. and then you get back. My wife was working, or my fiance at the time was working in the school system in Marion County. And you realize, you know, it's a really nice place. And I absolutely adore it. My wife and I lived in Gainesville for between 2002 and 2006. We just wanted to see what it was like outside of the city. And turns out our roots were just a little too strong because, you know, our parents were not getting any younger at the time. We pictured ourselves, you know, Gator games, drinking toddies, you know, mom's not calling every 10 seconds, wanting a nail hammered into a wall. But then we found ourselves on the interstate pretty much every weekend to hammer that nail into the wall. So we finally just said, let's come back. And then my mom passed away shortly thereafter. She was actually, you know, she actually came down with cancer. And then, that was kind of the final. We said, okay, we're coming back home.
And that's why you support the cancer.
Yeah, absolutely. She died of, you know, she got breast cancer and fought it one time, and then it came back and got her later on. So,
David, the only part about this that is by the book is the clock. We have to do that. But thank you for taking time. I know you're busy. It was so nice of you to say yes. It had nothing to promote. Just get to know Dave Schlenker a little bit.
This is awesome. Yeah.
So I wish we could do these all the time.
Who else do you want to get to know next?
I don't know.
Yeah, I want to talk to you guys.
Yeah, I want to do this more often.
Larry, what's your favorite color?
I'll tell you next time.
Shut up, Dave. We're out of time already.
Turquoise is the answer. Thank you, Dave. That was fun.
Oh, thank you.
We'll be right back.
Committee Chair Devin Nunes sees no evidence of wiretapping, but he says someone is leaking information. FBI Director James Comey and NSA Director Mike Rogers are testifying.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. The panel also exploring allegations of Russia meddling in the U.S. election. House Speaker Paul Ryan says he'll pursue changes to provide more help to older people in the new GOP health care bill due for a House vote Thursday.